Welcome to Human Dreaming, the podcast for curious dreamers. Today, I will be interviewing the mother-daughter author duo, Janice and Leslie Sommers. Their book, Brighde Reborn, is their first novel of a planned trilogy book series. Besides writing, Leslie loves traveling and singing. She was bitten by the travel bug after going to Ireland for the first time, and since then, she has visited Cuba, London, Sicily, and Scotland. Leslie is also a very gifted singer, classically trained for all genres, who has been cast as well as hired to sing throughout New Jersey and New York for concerts, cabarets, and weddings. Like their main character, Bridget, Leslie was born and raised in New Jersey, and she inherited her love of reading from her mother. Janice is a classically trained ballerina and has danced in Lincoln Center. After completing her education degree, she focused on taking care of her family and encouraging her children to follow their dreams. Her passion for books and music was passed on to the next generation, and like Leslie, Janice has also found a love of traveling after recently going to the UK and Sicily with her family. Leslie and Janice Sommers, welcome to Human Dreaming.
Thank you.
Well, I'm very excited to have you here today. I have read most of your book, Brighde Reborn, the Amulet Series, and I have, for anybody who's watching the YouTube version, you can see the cover here. It's a beautiful cover, and it's a young adult novel that uses a lot of dreams and has a lot of insights into dreams. So I'm super excited to interview you guys today and talk about dreams and what your process is with writing, and specifically how you integrated dreaming into your storytelling.
Thanks, we're excited to be here.
Wonderful. So just as like a general baseline, when you think of dreams, what's the first kind of definition that comes to mind for you? How do you define dreams within your own life?
I don't know. It's kind of a hard thing. I mean, I think they're just stories that happen when I'm thinking about it. I can never remember. I only remember parts of dreams. I never remember the whole thing. I remember feelings I had.
Mm-hmm.
And my little friend over here, from the day she could talk, she would run up out of her bedroom, sit down at the table and said, I had a dream. And we'd all go, is it a short dream or a long dream? Because we had to qualify because she had to go to school or we had things to do. And she would tell us.
My dreams are long.
Yeah.
Long. And I say, can you hold it for dinner or lunch or something like that? And she'd say, yes. Short dreams, they would like go at breakfast.
And they were very detailed.
And and that was the other problem. They were very, very detailed.
And it's funny because part of Brighde Reborn actually came from a dream. Like the dreams themselves actually start off from a dream that I had, and I felt that they were going to be pertinent to the storyline, so I interspersed them throughout.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. Tell me more about that.
It was the first dream that she discusses, or she has, I should say, is about Luke running around trying to go after Abira because he's looking for the amulet, and he knows that she has it, and Breed's running after him. And I had a dream in which originally the Luke person was named David. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. And I was Breed, and I was running after him, and we were in the middle of a forest going uphill. That's all I remember. And then there was a cabin at the top, and I was yelling, like, where are we going? Why are we, like, she doesn't have it. Are you sure? And David was real angry and kept saying, yeah, I know she has it. And I kind of woke up from there. I wrote it down because it was just so impactful and colorful. And I definitely knew that was something I had to use somewhere else. And so I wrote it down. And then as we were discussing what we wanted to do with these dreams that we were thinking of having, I definitely was like, oh, this will work. We should put this in there. So David became Luke.
We had to change the name.
Oh, obviously.
Absolutely. That's interesting, because one of my questions was going to be, how did you make the dreams seem like realistic dreams? A lot of times when I read about dreams, I'm like, oh, well, sounds like it was like a made up dream, but you know, dreams are just so bizarre. It's hard to actually write them as a dream. So that really explains that pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So you basically dreamed this book into existence, if I'm understanding you correctly.
Well, just that part, just the first dream. Everything after that was not my own dream. It was just, I mean, I write a lot of my dreams down, so I think I had the cadence and the feeling for being able to write dreams, and that was helpful. But how we started this book, I actually came up with the idea after my dad did something one day. We were in the kitchen, and he was hard of hearing. He misheard something, and he got really angry because he was getting frustrated because he couldn't hear it. And it was a sunny day, like you can kind of see it is right now. And our our sink has a window behind it. So as I was washing dishes, I was noticing that angrier he got, the darker clouds became. It went from being so sunny to pitch black. And I kind of just looked over and I was like, I know he doesn't control weather, but what if he did?
Yeah.
And I kid you not, a minute later, as his mood went, it was cleared and he understood everything. And as his mood calmed down, the clouds dispersed. And I was like, okay, this has to be something. So I really sat down that night and wrote the first paragraph.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Mhm.
Brilliant. I love
And
it.
I think within like 2 days, I had the first like chapter written. And then I was a short story writer, so embarking on a whole novel was a lot for me. And I remember reading about other authors who enlisted family members. And Mom and I have always gotten along really well. And I always bounced ideas off of her, so it just seemed like a natural fit to pull her in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like she has the right credentials as well.
Yeah.
It was an interesting, I'm writing this book. You want to help me? You want to join in? And I was like, okay, because writing is not something that I've done. We all write little quirks here and there, little notes or something, but it's not something to write a whole story or a whole book or something. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, sure. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's great. I was wondering, I have a question for you, Janice, about like teenage behavior. Did you have to kind of like modify any of that and be like, oh no, I have a better
in the book?
Yeah.
In the book? Well, one of the things I said to her, don't make the parents stupid. Because I've read so many books or seen so many sitcoms where the parents are clueless.
Yeah.
They don't know what the kids are doing. They're not in touch with the real world.
Yeah.
And that just annoys me because that's not real life.
Right.
I guess there are parents out there that have no clue what their kids are doing, but I think most parents have an idea. They may not say anything, but they have an idea. So one of the things was to don't make the parents stupid. And we worked very hard. So there are some things in the book that are actually things I do.
Mm-hmm.
One where she wasn't feeling well and got the tea with the cinnamon toast and that kind of stuff. That's something I've done, for her.
Yeah.
To me and my brother whenever we were sick when we were children.
Yeah, you didn't feel good. And they always say, your stomach's upset, so what do you have? You have something light to drink and some toast. Dry toast. So I put, cinnamon sugar on it to make it taste better.
It's good stuff.
Lovely.
So some of those things, I think you've probably, I don't know if you've gotten that far in the book, you probably passed it. But yeah, some of the things that are said and done are me. She put in there.
Oh, that's sweet. I love that. Yeah, there's been a couple times where where she was told to stay home from school and just rest up and yeah. Which makes
There's
sense.
a lot of mommy feelings in there that we wanted to make sure we were able to impress upon because we have a very good relationship and we wanted to make sure that Bridget and her mom had a good relationship and that reflected ours.
Yeah.
So all of the ways that her mother would take care of her were the same ways that my mom would take care of me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That really shows in the writing too.
Well, I'm glad it comes out.
Yeah.
You don't know us, so you don't know who we are and that kind of thing, but I'm glad it comes out in the book.
It does. Well, I am a mom of a
okay.
She gets it.
But she does believe that I have eyes on the back of my head. So
yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we know everything and you can't do anything because eventually I'll find out.
Exactly. And you might as well be able to share with each other anyways, and it sounds like you guys are able to do that. So brilliant. Yeah. So have you ever had, I mean, it sounds like you kind of have just in the course of the book, but, you know, maybe outside of that framework, is there anything else in your life where dreams have really affected your daily life or the course of your life or your career choices or anything to that effect?
For myself, I can say no, I don't think so. I mean, half of the time, as I said, I can't remember the dream, so I can't say that, oh yes, I had this dream and it influenced me to do something.
Sure.
So I just thought, you know, it may have influenced when I woke up. I was upset or sad or happy, depending on how the feeling of the dream went, but I don't think it colored my day.
Yeah.
I kind of echo that same sentiment. I can't think of one specific dream that has impacted my life in some way in which it did color my day, but I have woken up and had dreams that I just couldn't shake. One I can remember from high school. We didn't live where we do now, and the house that we lived in, when you opened the door, you would walk immediately out onto a sidewalk onto our grass, like real fast. It was a flat land. And I had a reoccurring nightmare that I couldn't leave my house unless I made it through the swarm of snakes that was literally covering my entire front yard. But no, I just couldn't walk through them. I had to eat my way through. Weird. I had the dream probably about 3 or 4 times, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of snakes, so I don't know if that's where my phobia comes from, or it was always there and that was just manifesting. But that definitely was something I remember. I can even like remember the colors of the snakes.
Yeah.
Different
Yeah,
colors.
that could definitely do it. So
Yeah.
do you happen to remember like what period in your life you were having the recurring dream?
I was in high school. I was probably about 14, 15 years old. So freshman and sophomore. I'm sure there was a lot of changes because I was going from 8th grade and being a freshman. I was on color guard. I was in school plays. I was in Girl Scouts.
Very busy.
I was extremely busy.
Yeah.
So there was probably a lot going on where I felt like I needed to balance everything. But I'm not quite sure what eating snakes would have to do with any of that. I would imagine more would be like juggling multiple plates in the air, like in a circus act.
Right. Yeah, that's
Snakes.
the funny thing about dream symbolism is it's like not always literal. You know, there's a lot of bizarre things like that. But you do seem to be a very vivid dreamer, and the reason why I ask about like time period is because recurring dreams tend to happen like for a period of our life, and they'll keep coming back until whatever is going on at that time has been processed. So it could totally just be like the change in that part of your life and so much going on, and like, you know, just the intensity of having to go through that. But you know, you would have to like be able to remember the emotional arc and stuff, and so that's a little bit far back for that. But yeah, recurring dreams are really interesting that way. They don't typically go away until you've kind of like processed whatever it is that
You have to work through what was causing the dreams, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So like if you had if you could create a PSA, like a billboard or a TV commercial or anything that was for the whole world to see, what do you think that might look like?
I would say let people be. There's so much right now that's going on in the world where race, politics, sexual identity, gender, any of that is clashing. And just because person A doesn't like what person B is doing, there is some kind of
discord,
an argument, or it's gotten to the point of actual physical violence. But I have friends who range across all of these things. I have friends who are deeply conservative in their religion, and then I have people who are completely non-religious. I have just a whole spectrum, and we can all get along because at the end of the day, we look at each other and we see the human that's there and not what the label is. And I, because just because they're super religious, and I might not be, should not have no effect on my life. And it doesn't interfere with my life and how I live it. And I think the way I live my life doesn't interfere how they live their lives.
Yeah.
That would be my
It's
PSA.
it's an acceptance. Just accept the person as they are and move on.
Let them be. Let them, you do you. Let them do them.
Yeah. Don't.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you for that. I hear the train. It actually sounds really pretty. It's not covering up the audio.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're like,
The 5 o'clock commuter train's going by.
No,
That's with the windows closed.
yeah. Janice, is there anything that you would want the whole world to know if you could just kind of put a message out there in any format?
No, I think, Leslie and I agree that just live your life. I don't have the right to impact your life in such a way to make you change it or make you see my life. You have to believe what I believe. No, just do you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I like that.
It doesn't serve any purpose to try to put my feelings or my beliefs or something on someone else.
Yeah.
It causes them to not like you or not want to be with you, or around you.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting that you guys are bringing it up because I feel like that's partially a theme in the book, stop the fighting and let's
acceptance.
figure out how to get
how to work together.
Yeah, work
Which
together, exactly.
Doesn't happen too often.
Operation, yeah.
In the book, doesn't happen in the book too often, if I remember.
Is it okay if I read a couple quotes and then ask you about them?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, so this is from page 126, and it's right after Bridget, the main character, has had a dream about the necklace, the stolen necklace. I think it was the dream that you were mentioning earlier, Leslie. And she says, "When I had these dreams before, it was like something I'd imagined from bits and pieces of my subconscious. Now, knowing about my family, they felt more like clues." And I really love this because as somebody who wrote a book about dreams, this is it could be something from my book about how you take these bits and pieces from your subconscious and you put them together, and then they're clues to different things. So you can actually put the puzzle pieces together. Doesn't have to remain a mystery forever, if you want to know. So I really loved that. Is there, I just wanted to say that, but if there's anything that you'd like to add about that, feel free to.
Those clues will be answered in the second book.
Oh, okay.
It comes together in the second book.
Is the second book out or?
No, we're writing that right now.
Okay, great.
Planned trilogy, and so we're working on book 2. This book only just came out November 30th of 2020. So while the world was on fire, we were celebrating our book release.
Yeah, we were on fire for sure.
Yeah, literally at some points.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're still working on book 2, and we're making sure that we have heavy dreamery throughout there.
Yeah.
One of the dreams become less clue-like and a little bit more like guiding. They guide her.
They
Okay.
give her a purpose of what she has to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she already has a purpose. It just elaborates on it. Gives her a bit more depth to what
the dreams help her
yeah.
to achieve the goal that she needs to achieve.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I hope you keep me posted when the second one is coming out so I can.
Will do.
Yes, absolutely.
Write all in that one too. And then in chapter 15 on page 130, it says, "If we don't dig deep into your inner subconscious, you'll never tap into your power." And I also find that to be very profound because, that's true. Like we always think of ourselves as being conscious beings, but 90% of our life is run off of our subconscious. So if we don't understand what's going on in there, how are you ever going to, actually have any conscious control over your life? So really love that line. And, you know, again, I just wanted to point that out for listeners who are reading the book, like how brilliant some of these lines are. But if you have anything to add to it, please do.
It's important for Bridget to realize that those subconscious is helping her, putting those the dreams together, listening to her subconscious to help her move forward. Mm-hmm. She has decisions to make in the coming chapters in book 2, and these all help. She has to tie them all together in some way.
Mm-hmm. So she has to realize that her power isn't surface level. And that's really what the major point of that quote is that she has to definitely dig deep inside herself, get down in there, kind of roll around in the mud, if you will, and see how that can help her grow as who she is. And otherwise, she's just a shell, right? Like she's just a shell of a human.
She'll never reach her full potential.
Yeah.
And it's important that she does.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
The fate of the world, yeah.
Yeah. And the cool thing
too, feel that, you know, I think, you know, she does feel that pressure on her shoulders that, you know, why is it me? Why do I have to do this? Why, you know, why do I have to, you know, do this or find the amulet? Why can't someone else do it? Or, you know.
Yeah, why can't you just be a normal teenager with all the other pressure?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, throw school on top of that and the interpersonal relationships with friends and, you know, boyfriends and, you know, trying to kind of make everybody happy and try to get along. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
And this is the pressure we put on teenagers to begin with, minus powers.
Yeah, take away the powers. You've got all those pressures anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And just in terms of metaphor, you know, and especially in a young adult novel, when, you know, people of this age are reading this, it's like even just doing all those things that you mentioned, like keeping it together and trying to keep everyone happy, and then you've got raging hormones and all of these things going on and trying to keep, you know, life straight, and the stories that we were told as children, you know, maybe the world's not quite as safe as we were told it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's downright like having to become a superhero anyways, you know, when you look at it
and put that on top of it, you have this destiny.
Yeah, it feels that way at that age.
Yeah.
I did have a friend read the book, and she gave me the commentary that we put a lot on Bridget and she's really indecisive, and I came back with, what 17-year-old is decisive? And she point.
Yes, it is.
It's like, when you throw all this on them, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that ties in, and they're unsure. They're just beginning to become adults, and, you know, do I pick A, B? What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's fair for her to take a minute to think about it. So the next quote is on the next page, 131, and it says, "The key to controlling your powers is to know where they stem from," he continued. "I can harness mine because it's tied to my inner thoughts. Heads up, if I'm having scary dreams, prepare for a snowstorm." I nodded. "With you, if I'm right, your powers come from your emotions. Think about how you've been feeling recently and what's happened." And again, I find that to be really insightful into dreams, because in the method that I use, dreams, emotions play an incredibly important role in dreams. Like your emotional arc is really oftentimes the literal thing that the dream is about. So I really enjoyed that one too.
I'm glad. I'm really happy. We're really happy to hear that you really like the book.
Yeah,
it's just nice.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just expecting to be like more talking generally about it. I wasn't expecting to pull so many quotes that I found really interesting from it. So it was a nice surprise. And then I have one
too.
What is this, chapter 20, it looks like, page 160. It says, had my dream last night been more of a premonition? Was my subconscious telling me I needed to end it with Trip? And I'll tell you why I think that's another good one, because predictive dreams is something that a lot of people don't really understand and how they work. And our subconscious is really good at pulling in information that we're not consciously aware of and putting it into a scenario and then feeding it back to us into our dreams in the form of like practicing for likely scenarios that are going to happen. So I always find predictive dreaming really fascinating, and the fact that it seems like she might be having some predictive dreams, or in this case premonitions, as it says in the book.
I like to think of that that particular dream sequence as her subconscious kind of guiding her, like the way you would get your conscious to actively guide you while you're awake.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the intention behind that. So when she wakes up and she's like, oh, am I supposed to break up with Trip? Is that what I'm supposed to do? I'm trying to get her intuition to tell her, like, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, follow your gut and trust yourself.
Yeah.
And that's really what that was meant to be.
Brilliant. You know, again, you know, they do track so well as actual dreams, which I really appreciated that you put the time into. And very cool that you're an avid dreamer and you're utilizing that, you know, in
good outlet.
Yeah, it is, and it shows. So is there anything else you want to tell me about Brighde Reborn or the main character Bridget? Anything else that you would like people to know?
So stick around for book 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Some big reveals happen in book 2 that are mind-blowing. And dreams definitely play a very significant part in book 2.
Does, yes, they do.
Wonderful. Well, when that comes out, we'll definitely have to have a conversation again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get caught up on that. Yeah.
For sure.
Brilliant. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Anything that you would like us to know? Do you have any social medias or websites we should check out? Goodreads?
Well, if you, my side hobby is reading and reviewing books on my Instagram page.
Okay.
So I have a load of stuff in there. If anybody wants recommendations, they can always message me or comment on one of the posts, and I will absolutely recommend people to any book they would like. I used to work in a bookstore, and I specifically worked in the kids department, and so reading and recommending books is just my favorite thing to do.
It's part of your job too.
Besides the fact it was part of my job, I enjoy that as not my job now. So I would definitely send people there.
That's brilliant.
If you follow me on Instagram, you're gonna you'll get more Brighde Reborn updates, and you'll hear more about book 2 snippets and things.
Very cool. What is your Instagram handle? I'll put it in the show notes as well, but just so people
Sure. It's literary_fairy.
Great.
Really silly name, but I'll explain why I have this handle specifically. When I worked at the bookstore, one of my best friends was working there at the same time, and we both worked in the kids department, and I was saying to her, wouldn't it be great if we just opened a kids bookstore, just like babies to be up to 18, you know, maybe throw in the new adults, but wouldn't that be great if that's what we did? And we were deciding the name, and we decided on Literary Fairies. I have no idea why.
For the store name?
Yeah, for the store name. And we just thought that was really cute. And so when I needed to come up with my own Insta handle, I was like, well, this is just going to be funny. So I threw that in there, and I was like, guess what my name is? And she was like, oh, that's so great.
Yes.
So I decided to keep it. I know, you know, I should probably be something more professional.
I like it.
No,
I'm
not. Yeah.
I love it. I have a kid's book that I'll have to send to you to read and see what you think about it.
Please.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm reading it with my daughter right now. It's called Here, There, and Everywhere, but I'll send you a picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I love getting all book recommendations of all kinds. I read kids books. I read YA books. I read adult fiction, like contemporary romance has been my thing. I used to be more into teen dystopian, but no joke, after 2020, that started hitting a little too close to home. So I had to kind of break away from that.
Yeah.
And right now, it's just an onslaught of like romance comedy books.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And, teen books every now and then.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I'm with you on the need for change in genre after that year.
I just needed something a little uplifting.
Sometimes you're reading one type of book, for months on end, and it's all of a sudden,
But we're literally standing in a grocery store and they're making those announcements like, please keep your mask on and maintain social distancing. And all I keep picturing was just, I don't know if you've ever heard of this book or read it, the Shatter Me series. The author's last name is Mafi, M-A-F-I. She's lovely. I'm obsessed with all of her writing. And in her Shatter Me series, there's a reference to before the world went to, hell. And she makes a comment that they had announcements out about, keeping safe and not eating certain animals because they were sick and all these things. And it hit way too close to home hearing that. And I was like, oh no. Yeah. Okay, I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities.
No.
Yeah.
I branched out.
Yes. Yeah. Lighten the mood a little bit.
Oh yeah.
At least in the daytime fantasies. Yeah. Well, Leslie and Janice, I thank you so much for joining us today, and I look forward to staying in touch and getting to read book number 2 and book number 3 and hearing about the dreams that Brighde continues to have in the Amulet series, Brighde Reborn being the first one.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. We are supported by Human Dreaming, The Dynamics of Dream Interpretation by Sunshine Press. The Human Dreaming book can be purchased on Amazon.com, the Barnes & Noble website, or through your local bookstore. For Dream Share or help with interpretation, please join us at the Human Dreaming Facebook group. You can also find us on Instagram at human_dreaming. Thank you for listening and subscribing, and please join us again next week.